Welcome back, everyone, to the second part of the Building the Approval Pattern videos. I'm Venture Maven Will, and today we are going to dive deep into creating some powerful customizations in our approval app. These changes will make it more robust and truly ready for enterprise scenarios. In the last video, we built our app that is able to analyze approval requests based on certain criteria and dynamically generate individual approval processes based on the case details. Now, that's certainly useful for a requester to have the correct approval steps automatically laid out for them instead of having to manually look up pages of policy documents. But we certainly don't want to manually type out emails to each department to ask for approval. Instead, we want to automate the entire process end to end. And that's exactly what we are going to build in today's video. Before we begin, keep in mind that every video in this series is built on the foundational skills taught in Microsoft's Power Up program. If you're looking for an easy way to get some hands-on experience building apps, digitizing business processes, and truly transform your career, this is absolutely the program for you. So, how do we automate an approval process? Essentially, we will need to automate the process of sending requests to approvers and creating a system that lets the recipient approve or reject a request. There are several ways to do that. You can create your own approval app and guide the recipient to the app with a link. There are several third-party tools like MSCRM add-on or Docs42 that offer extremely simple document automation and e-signature integrations to create approval processes that stand the test of the law and are fully auditable. Microsoft also offers its own approval process that sends a notification to the approvers in multiple channels, lets them approve or reject a request, and then feeds the response back to your Power Automate flow so you can create different actions based on the approver's decisions. We'll be using Microsoft's out-of-the-box approval solution today. Let's jump right into our approval steps table. If you've been following along from part one, you'll see a list of approval steps that our app generated for each submitted approval request. Now, here's the key. To send approval requests in the right order, we need to track two things: the order of steps and which approvers have already given their approval versus those still pending. All right, quick check. Make sure you've created an approval status column. Now, this is important. It needs to be a choice column with exactly three options: open, approved, and declined. By default, each step starts with that open status and will change to either approved or declined based on the approver's response. And definitely take note of that open status value. We'll need it in just a moment. All right, let's head back to the flow. We're going to perform another list rows action, this time targeting the approval steps table. Now here's where it gets interesting. We'll write a filter expression to find approval steps that belong to our approval request and are still open. Plus, we'll sort the results by our step order. This clever trick lets us instantly identify exactly what the next step should be. So here's what we're trying to achieve. Users should be able to notify their current approver just by hitting the submit button. But think about this. What happens after someone approves? Should the requester have to go back and manually submit to the next person? Absolutely not. We want the system to automatically notify the next approver the moment someone gives their approval. That's the magic we're building. But here's a challenge. We need to trigger this notification process from two different places: when a user first submits and when an approver approves. Power Automate only allows one trigger per flow. Plus, the submission process has complex logic that won't fit into a single trigger. So, what's the solution? Build two separate flows with duplicate steps? Actually, there's a much smarter approach. Power Automate has this fantastic feature called child flows. Think of a child flow as a Power Automate flow that you can trigger from another flow. This opens up incredible flexibility. You can trigger processes exactly when you need them and even embed them within other processes. Let's implement this solution. Head back and create a new cloud flow, specifically an instant flow. I'll quickly name this flow. In the trigger, I'm defining a GUID parameter. This lets me grab the approval step GUID from my main flows and pass it right into this process. Next, I'll retrieve all the information for this approval step, then use that data to get the linked approval process, the approval request, and the approver details. Now for the crucial part. Find the start and wait for an approval action and fill in those fields. Here's how Power Automate's approval magic works. It sends the request to your designated approver and then patiently waits for their response before moving forward. Our next move is to check that outcome. If they click approve, we update the current step status to approved. If not, we mark it as declined and set the entire request to declined as well. We're nearly finished with our child flow, but there's one more crucial step to turn this into a true child flow. We need to send a success response back to any flow that triggers this one. Now, since approval flows might take days to complete, we can't just put the response at the end. Here's the solution. Create a parallel branch right after the trigger. This way, it responds immediately while the approval process continues running in the background. Back in our main flow, add the run a child flow action. Name it, and you'll see our child flow appear right in the dropdown. Now let's create one more flow, this time with an automated trigger. This flow activates whenever an approval step changes to approved. And when that happens, it finds the pending approval steps and automatically submits to the next approver in line. That's our fully automated system. Time for the finishing touches in our Canvas app. Let's load it up and make it look professional. I'm replacing that default gallery button with an icon. And here's a neat PowerFX expression. If the approval step is open, display a clock. If approved, show a check mark. If declined, show an X. Let's also make the colors dynamic. Gray for open, green for approved, and red for declined. And one more thing, add a refresh button with PowerFX formula that updates both the approval steps and approval request tables when clicked. And there we have it. Our app is complete. Let's see it in action. I'll create a request, enter some data, and watch what happens. Perfect. There's my team's notification. Now for this demo, I'm set as the approver for all steps. So when I approve this first request, I should immediately get another notification for the next step. Let's confirm. And yes, exactly as expected. You can customize the app and flows to match your specific needs, but this gives you the solid foundation for any enterprise approval workflow. Thanks for following along with this tutorial. In our next video, we'll explore more Power Platform patterns and how to implement them in your organization. If this helped you out, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. See you in the next one.